Guess who's back? Prepare for a bumpy ride. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Y'all ready for a bumpy ride? Ah, what I don't know what the hell was up with my internet on my laptop, but it was tripping. Y'all, I'm in my bed. My bed is lazy. My laptop is really giving me the blues right now. Let me see. Captivating. What's going on? Okay, so is it gonna act okay now? Hold on, I'm trying to see what's going on with it. What is? Y'all, I'm so comfortable, huh? Oh, I don't want to show y'all my goods. So it's a lazy Sunday. Um, I've been doing, like I said, I started doing more of my writing, uh, and I had a writer's block for a while, because I was fleshing out my characters. I fleshed out everyone, uh, but I was still, working on my origin story, the origin story for my characters as well. Um, but it's been a kind of tedious process because I want to be original, um, and not be just a rehashing of some other, you know, story that something a movie I've seen. Um, so I've done a lot of research, and my characters. I've done a lot of research on gods and goddesses, Egyptian gods and goddesses, uh, Greek and Roman mythology, Celtic mythology, the Norse gods. I've did research on different deities. So my characters are based up on folklore, gods and goddesses, basically. Um, but uh, in our modern, daytime. So it's really, uh, I told you guys this before about the whole premise. Uh, I read a lot of my main literature is Greek mythology. I studied Greek and Roman mythology because they're very similar. The gods and goddesses are just the names have changed, but they play the same roles. Like Aphrodite. Aphrodite is Greek mythology, and her name is Venus in Roman mythology. Uh, you still have Zeus and Hera, but some of the names like Apollo, Athena, Artemis, they're all Greek gods. So my book and the novel is going to be loosely kind of, is I've gotten names and the characterizations from the mythology that I've been researching. Um, what else? Hey, Purple Power. Okay. Prince did Sex Shooter. So I've been eating and writing, and I've been lazy. That's funny. Y'all like my little necklace? It's a tree. Can you see it? It's the tree of life on a crystal, like on a healing quartz of some sort. But that's the tree of life. And you notice my pillow is the tree because I like the whole aspect of life, lifeline, and giving the auras. My picture is atmospheric, I'd say. You have a smaller, clear one like this? Hey, Simply Me. This is Prince singing Sex Shooter. I like Prince. He's one of my favorite artists. Uh, I lived in Minneapolis for a couple of years as a kid. Thank you. I got this picture over here. If you can see it, that's my little computer desk. That picture, let me get closer. That picture I took in New York. Can you see it? I was the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, God. Let me see. I got this picture blown up at Sam's. This was like 9 years ago. Think about 9 years ago. Y'all can see it. I was in Brooklyn. I was visiting my friend in Philadelphia. The guy that you heard me talking on the phone with, we were visiting him. I was visiting him with another friend in New Jersey, Philly, and we caught the train to New York. And that was like 9 years ago. 10, probably 10 years ago. Really, the time has went by. 10 years ago. I thought it was I had a good time. But my friend in Philly, he and I have been friends for like 20 years, about 20 years. But, oh, thank you. Thank you. But I had a great time. I guess, when people ask me about that, I'm not really much of a drinker. I've never been a smoker. I grew up, there was alcoholism in my family. So I grew up always saying that I didn't want a substance controlling me. And my father had a brief time that he had drug abuse. Now, I can tell people that, so if anybody ever try to use that, I'm the one that's telling you this. My father dealt with drug abuse for a short period of time. Um, but I've never wanted to be a person to be controlled by something altering my personality, uh, doing things and you don't remember what you've done the next day. Um, you know, I just didn't want to live like that. Um, but, I think that when we had the discussion on the gentleman's panel, and I said the question that I posed was, if a photographer sees you and they just catch a picture of you at your most vulnerable time, like your raw, when you're at your most raw moment, what would they see? And my answer to that for myself was sadness. I think because I'm a deep person and I think a lot, sometimes I have to reel myself in because I think so much that I can lose myself in thoughts. And, I'm very sensitive. So if I'm in deep thought, my mind goes to people that I've lost, loved ones. So it's easy for me in deep thought to have like my demeanor, if caught in that moment, would be sadness. I believe in life and loving and, reaching out to people, but I don't know. Some of the guys, when I asked that question, I don't know if I conveyed what I was looking for in the question to them, because I got different responses, but I wanted to hear, what do they see? Do they see confidence? Do they see happiness? Do they see, just is your demeanor ambivalent? Is there no expression or no feeling that you would convey? That's simply what I was looking for. You know, I think a couple, maybe one answered that way, but I don't think everyone else did. Let me see what's up, internet. Let me see if I can see the chat. I'm going to I'm looking online now. Okay. He said laughter. Okay. He said laughter. Let me put my mute on. Sorry. Okay. Because I think that a lot of times we see ourselves differently than others may see us. And even as a kid, I was a class clown. Let me say that. I was a class clown, and it got me in trouble a lot of times because I would be cutting up in class. But I think laughter was a form of escaping, certain circumstances that I was in. Because when I was younger, for a period of time, we lived at poverty level. My mother was a single parent. She didn't finish school, and she got, jobs to make ends meet, but we were probably like the poorest in my family, as far as my cousins, first cousins and stuff. We had less than all of them. But it was strange because as adults, we surpassed them in our accomplishments and what we had. Because I think we worked harder to have things because we knew what it was like to not have. That's why I don't look down up on people, because you don't know what a person's background is, and you're no better than them. What makes you better? Because I as a child, I lived with lights being cut off sometimes. We had to stay with relatives at times. So I knew what it was like to not have. Uh, Again, as an adult, I've been to Africa. I've been to Canada and Mexico. Right, Lynn. I've been to other countries. I've been to Frankfurt, Germany. But yes, I have a Lexus IS 250, but we didn't have a car sometimes as a kid. And the Lexus doesn't make me a better person. It's like people will see that and they may think, because I've had people say that, like as if I was like from a well to do family or not, something like that. But no, you know, if I didn't have that car, I would still be the same person. I just said I wanted to get a Lexus. I had an Audi before, I had a Honda Civic.
I've had a Kia, you know, but it didn't define me because you could stay in a mansion and be miserable. I like the body of the IS 250. I love the body style. And I was like, okay, when I had my Kia, I had a two-door Kia coupe. It was a little sporty car, had a sunroof, it was blue. Baby, the speakers would light up. It was a party inside my car. But my Audi was good. It just had like problems with the air conditioning. But um I had the A4, the Audi, the A4. But I I think that it didn't make me because you can't take those things with you when you leave here. And I think that I saw, hold on, let me plug up my phone. Oh God, I hope I'm not. Y'all see a fupa? Okay, let me, hold on, y'all. Okay, my phone is plugged up now. But you're a heavy thinker. I think so. Because you know what, y'all? I say this about myself. I think so much sometimes that I think that if I'm talking to a person, sometimes I'm feeling as if I'm slowing myself down, engaging in conversation with people sometimes. So I ask questions, but you know, technology wise, no, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a mathematician, and I have to really learn math. I can get math, but I'm not a trigonometry type of person. But my intelligence has always been more like along the lines of a judge or a lawyer. You know how that is. People can be. My intelligence always laid within art and writing more so. I was more artistic. Um, when I was a kid, my attention span was so my attention span was so here and there that again I was like a little class clown or I would be easily bored. So this is funny. What happened was my mother, I told you my mother was a single mother. We moved a lot, so I didn't have structure. And there was one school I was in, and they tried to put me in like remedial classes, and my mother wasn't feeling that at all because keep in mind I was a kid that could read encyclopedias. I was sitting down reading the Encyclopedia Britannica. So why are you putting me in a class that's like a remedial class? Because it was my attention span was I was getting bored, so they didn't know if I had a learning disability or maybe I was autistic. But it wasn't any of those. I just didn't have structure. So they let me get back in my regular classes. My mother moved so much that it was like I wasn't able to keep up with my schoolwork. Uh, and she did something. They put me a grade. Like we moved to the country. My mother was telling them about my paperwork, and it was my cousin in the court. I had a cousin worked in the courthouse. They were going to doctor up some stuff so I could be in my right grade. But my mother put me at a school that my cousin was at, and they put me a grade ahead. When they put me in the grade ahead, I had been there a while, and I was right there with those kids. I was right there, and they were older than me, but I was keeping up with them, and I was so embarrassed because the principal did an announcement, and he called my name out, and he was saying that this one student when he first came here, he had a rocky road and things were a little shaky for him at first. But he has done wonderfully. He's done well in his classes now, and I'm happy to have him as a student. I was so embarrassed when he said my name, but and it was a white school and there wasn't many of us blacks there, so I was kind of like, oh my god. But it was because I just didn't have stability. And they thought again that I had a learning disability, but it wasn't that. It was just like, even now, if I talk to people, I can read people's body language. I can meet you and know I don't like you. I can meet you and I can pick up instantly if I don't like a person because of just how I our interaction. If I feel your posture, just how you engage me, just all those things can make me determine that, listen, I'm not feeling you at all. Yeah. And I think that um, even with my friendships, I have friendships that I've had 20 plus years. I have friendships, but I'm really bad about keeping in touch with people. So I talked to my friend Lynn the other day, and we talked for a long period. And my friend Lynn here in Houston. My friend Lynn here in Houston, we've known each other since I was like 14 years old. And of course, y'all may look at me and think that, look, he's only like 20 years old, but I'm a little older than that. But Lynn and I've known each other for many years, I'll say that. And Lynn was the friend of mine. I told you guys the story about, again, the guy that felt on me when I was asleep and his girlfriend caught me. Well, that was Lynn's sister. That was Lynn's sister. And we talk about it to this day. Uh, y'all. Y'all, let's go. I'm gonna go over here to Bushes at Five Babes because I see she did a video. She just went live about Tracy gonna get effed up or something. I'm gonna get my life. I'm gonna be in the bushes. And Cap, I need to call you. Lynn T, we need to talk as well, just see how everything's going. Cause me and Lynn T, when we get on the phone, y'all, we talk, and I'll be looking up in like 2 hours that went by. Like I've known her. In my mind, I've known you, Lynn T, for like 20 years. But I'm gonna go over here. Purple Power, thank you for coming through as well. I appreciate you. And we need to talk to Purple Power. You know, I like reaching out to my moderators and having that relationship, but I'm going into Five Bays Bushes. Unfortunately, I have no one in my bush because we're quarantined. But see you guys over there. Yeah, okay, live 3 hours. Like you helped me get through my work shift because I was on my headphones. But we'll talk later, y'all. I'm going over here. We'll reconvene tonight. Maybe me and Cap can go online and stream yard or something. All right, y'all. Peace. Okay, wait, hold on. Damn, I keep forgetting which one I'm on. Okay.